Hi, this is Rex from universalexports.co, bringing you a fortnightly podcast called A Story to Tell. In this series, we hear from an eclectic group of people whose only connection is through being a member of the Camberwell Petanque Club. These guests unfold a labyrinth of achievements, disappointments, and surprises. You may be inspired, shocked, or even doubtful, but you will be enthralled. Because everyone has a story to tell. Mathematics, conceptual art, and petanque. These may not immediately look like they meld easily together. But our next guest sees it as not only a natural union, but one that should be promoted. Please enjoy Marija Savic on how it all works, because she has a story to tell. Good morning, Marija. Thank you so much for doing this. It's wonderful to be here.
Thank you for inviting me, yeah.
Absolute pleasure. Marija, most people that know you know that you play petanque. You play petanque particularly well. You point very well and you have extremely good strategy. Is this because you graduated as a mathematician?
It is. It's all about analysis. I always love that. And it's a risk management.
Risk management.
Exactly.
You did graduate as a mathematician. Where was that?
Belgrade, Serbia, ex-Yugoslavia. Yeah.
So that was in Belgrade, Yugoslavia at that stage.
Yeah.
Graduating as a mathematician, you intended to make a career of it. Is that where you went after you graduated?
Yes, that was my career. I actually, after I finished, I worked 1 year as teacher of mathematics in a high school when Anna was very small, baby, and then I moved to IT, which was my area of interest, and I studied and finished the information technology.
IT would have been very, very new at that stage.
It was and it wasn't. We were a big bank, Yugo Bank, like a Commonwealth Bank in here, had extremely good machines, IBM machines, although I started with the punch cards, but I moved.
Whilst you're a mathematician, you gained an interest in art.
I did, yeah.
They seem to be diametrically opposed.
Not really. Not really in this case, yeah. Not really art. It became, in period of 70s, extremely popular, something which was called conceptual art. Conceptual art was more about the concepts, the idea, the analysis of the process than the end work.
This had come under the heading of postmodernism.
Postmodernism, that's right.
If you can define postmodernism.
Exactly.
It's very difficult.
Yeah.
That intrigued you.
Scroll.
That conceptual stuff aligns with mathematics?
It does. So mathematics, which I, for example, had a lot of interesting concepts. There is something which is called non-standard analysis, and it's almost like a philosophy. You talk about the infinity, or you talk about the empty sets, or you talk about mathematical paradox. So it's all, those edges were very relevant to when I was becoming much more serious with the conceptual art.
You got into this field of art. What was your media? What did you specialise in?
It was not the interest of the end result in conceptual art, but it's more about the process. So a lot of times I will have an idea, and then idea become the best presented in photography or the best presented in a little drawing. But they were all more as the not important on the end as a result as a photography, but as a process and what the idea was.
That's totally fascinating. This was confirmed by a group of people, 143?
Yeah, 143. The group 143 got the name as we established as a group on the 14th of March in 1975. 50 years ago. And this is in the last 10 years becoming bigger and more important. So the group was only 5 years surviving. These are the catalogs that we've done at the time. These 5 years, a little bit more, a few more years after the group became non-existent as a group. But You know, years after that, in 2013, a guy called Dietmar Unkenfo wanted to do from Vienna in Austria, was interested in the conceptual art and wanted to do the PhD and decided to do it on our group. This year I went to Belgrade. I had a little bit of a connection with the ex-members to talk about the group.
And were you one of the establishment members?
I came a year after, not really the established member yet.
What was the benefit of being with that? You had a collective of group of people together and you just expanded the ideas?
So it was a lot of educational sessions. Every Sunday we will be meeting for 5 years and talk about all sorts of different subjects. It will be someone traveled and seen some interesting exhibition, or we have a book, or we decide to have a subject called space, but it could be mathematical space, would be mental space, would be. So any one of us will come with some ideas what to talk about and present. And then slowly, one of the ladies which start coming, Biljana Tomic, she was running at the time the Student Cultural Center. Mm-hmm. She said, how about we organize an exhibition? So it started. So one of the works... That
so you actually did have to have an end product to be able to do an exhibition. You can't just talk about it.
No, exactly. So I'll tell you. So these are all the part of my photographies, these two as well. Yeah. And this is the group meeting on Sundays.
It's unfortunate that our listeners can't see what you're pointing at here, but there's some wonderful images here.
Yeah.
Some of these images rely on the difference between dark and light, or in focus and out of focus. Yes. Again, a mathematical situation.
It is, because it's all a series which are very important to me, which I was sort of comparing black and white, focus in focus, or present absent. So I had a whole opus of those types. So the image is not that important as the image, but what is presented.
The concept behind it.
Yeah, so this is, for example, present and absent. Yeah. It's all about that one. Yeah.
It's just so intriguing. How long were you involved with the group?
5 years. We were, while I was finishing the university, and after that the group naturally dissolved. We all started working. And interestingly enough, the group wasn't really the group of artists. There was an engineer, I was a mathematician, there was an art historian, there was one artist which wasn't really doing the paintings anymore. So another area which wasn't like a binary series, which I was referring to, was something which was some associative structures. So I can talk about that one a bit.
No, please.
Yeah. So, for example, this belongs to one of the series which is associative structures, which is the association or something. The idea behind is the parallel, mathematical parallel, which is supposed to finish in infinity, but I wanted to present something which was a organic structure, which is a parallel. So there are two female bodies.
I'm looking at looks like two armpits.
Yeah, they are. So there is actually seven photographies. They were bought by the Modern Museum in Belgrade at the time, and became the part of, for example, this was the exhibition that the museum organized in there. So I'll show you so that was, we were serious, in what we were doing.
Obviously. You said you had an exhibition.
Yeah, we had quite a few the catalogs there, yeah.
So was it popular?
Oh yeah. So that's right. So this is now become part of the museum.
That's just stunning.
So it's all about, I like those interesting ideas, conceptual interesting, and then try to see what is that I can be using it as a part of my process, and on the end there is an end result. You're right, because we start making more and more exhibitions. So anyway.
By this stage you were working for
the bank, yeah.
How long were you with the bank?
That was the whole 7 years before I came here.
So what was the impetus that you decided you wanted to come to Australia, and why did you pick Australia? It's an awful long way from over there.
Tito, he died 2 years before we decided, my ex-husband and I, to come to Australia, we knew that there's something may happen. So 2 years after we came here, the NATO bombed Belgrade and Balkanized Yugoslavia, and it was a good decision.
Yeah,
so,
you really got out in time.
Yeah, I wasn't really that much keen, but my ex-husband was, so I was sort of happy.
But you were happy in the end?
Yeah. Oh, my concept in life, if you decide, then you stick with it and make the best of it. So when we came to Australia, I wasn't really trying to get too much just with the Serbs. So I was trying to integrate as fast as I can. I wanted my daughter to feel like Australians, not being bothered with, any other baggage. So
when you came here, you already had your daughter with you?
She was 11, yeah.
How did you choose Australia?
It was.
You had friends, relatives here already?
No, we didn't. We were looking America and Canada, didn't like it. On the end, we told them, Australia. And my father was, at the time, he was saying, it's a happy country. Which is, I agree, totally. So
The hard thing always when you're doing something like that is leaving family behind.
I never worried for the ex-Belgrade, or I was really worried for the family and for the people living behind, but yeah.
And so when you came to Australia, where did you land? Where did you start?
Landed in Melbourne, rented a place in Prospect Hill Road for a year and bought this place. So this is 35 years I am in here. Although I moved to Queensland for 4 years, and then very happy to come back to Melbourne. Yeah.
That's a very interesting comment.
Yeah.
Did you have a job to go to?
My experience was so relevant that when I came, decided to improve my English. But because I was working on IBM machines, we had a lot of manuals and other stuff which were English. So I went to the La Trobe, which is organizing for the newcomers. You can do the English courses. And while I was there, I decided I'll send my resume just to test interviews and how my English and what I've written in my resume. And at the time, the IT was very booming. So the agent called me and said, I've got an interview for you next week. Went to interview MI, was thinking I've done horribly badly. Went to the agent and she said, no, you're doing well. They wanted another one. So I had 3 interviews and I said, can you start the work? And I said, I just started the English course. That was September, October. And they said, finish it, come in January.
Really?
Yeah.
How wonderful. Your husband, did he have work?
He was an electric engineer, but he moved to IT as well because IT was much more open for the newcomers, and you were getting quite a good exposures, and really lots of training and all of that. So yeah.
So who did you get the first job with?
MI. Fantastic company, actually. I loved it at the time, and then I was bought by American and ruined it.
This is the insurance company?
Yes.
And where did you move from there?
I had quite a few jobs. That's what you do in the IT, if you want some more exposure. So worked for the consulting companies, and they will send me to the companies like Merrill Lynch or Colonial or, NZ Bank, things like that. So
how did you find the work here compared to the work that you left?
I was actually quite happy with the opportunities. People were very happy to help me. One of the companies that I went, Aspect Computing, which was a very small, 2 owners, Australian owned, lady in Melbourne and one Peter in Sydney, they got a big bid with NEC for the project which was called Victoria Online. So the lady was very happy with me project managing the project, but she wasn't happy with me, my total English. So she said, I'm happy, I want to put you in there, but how about we organize twice a week, you come and talk to the technical writer for an hour, you do some English, you write something. So I was getting help because you not only that you manage, you deal with the team, but you have to write some very controversial emails and responses and, to go everywhere. So, yeah.
What was the best company to work for?
Oh, I must say the Cambridge Technology Partners. That was the Cambridge, Massachusetts.
Oh, okay.
Was IT's company. The project that I was talking about, that's where they were organizing. They were combining the multimedia teams. So at the time, we moved from the green screen into the, the PCs, internet and things like that. So there was a project that we were developing the sites, internet sites, but you have a graphical designer, you have a cognitive specialist in the team. So all of these, I could talk to these people easy and understand, the points of view and translate that into what the IT has to do to be sort of finalizing those type of things. Yeah.
And you've been here 35 years in this house.
We bought it in 90. Yeah.
Whilst you were doing this here, did this give you any opportunity to get involved in your art at all?
Not really. Very busy with the jobs at the time, and the projects they were giving me were really high pressure, a lot of hours. Right. For example, you will be developing some release, but to put release in production, that's usually done on Friday nights, and then you are on call almost, something not working on Saturday or Sunday. So it was really hard. And at the same time, the Australia wasn't that much. The Australia was more about outdoor. It wasn't really about the museums and the art galleries and things like that. So, I realized that. So
you must have missed it.
Yeah, I did. But then even things start happening. So the interest of the conceptual art while I was living here became recently quite big. So people like Dietmar, who was doing the PhD, decided that our group is the subject.
What sort of timing?
He was 2013, long way away. In recent times. Yeah. And then because the group was of such a interest to him, we were responding, we were giving him some, our, whatever we survived, in the meantime. And then he decided to publish a book. Right. And after that became an exhibition. So it's sort of a...
So it's grown?
It's grown.
And is it still going? Still growing?
Yeah, this year I went to Bratislava. That was a huge exhibition, which was... collecting the conceptual artists from ex-Yugoslavia and ex-Czechoslovakia and putting together, there was like 200 artists.
And whereabouts was that?
In Bratislava, in Slovakia.
Yeah.
In Slovakia, yeah.
And that
was this February. Yeah.
And it was a popular exhibition?
It was quite good. So they had a seminar, which I then packed my trip to Europe to be on that seminar when they had a different... artists and art historians coming and talking about these old times, which was happening as we speak. So, and then after that, in Belgrade, they organized in Goethe Institutes to talk about the group because it was the 50 years of when we established the group. So we had a bit of a chat in there. And,
yes. I should say to the listener that Marija put in front of me probably half a dozen books, probably 25 different brochures of all sorts of catalogues and things where the group and the conceptual art has been exhibited and talked about. Have you chased it up any more here?
No, I think Australia missed out on conceptual art. It was.
You're not planning to set it up yourself and start it again?
No, there was a few of the little, things, but which I wanted to see of some conceptual artists, but it wasn't really. I think 70s were probably, I don't know what was happening at the time, but there was not really that much proof.
That's a real shame because I find it intriguing, and just looking around at what you have here, it is extremely interesting. I did a bit of research before I came to see you to try and find out a little bit more about it. I've got to say, I needed a rest after a while because my brain couldn't take it. My mind was boggled. But really, really interesting stuff. Do you want to talk any more about your family coming out here?
No, it was extremely successful for us. We were very happy here very quickly. Because of my experience in IT, got really good jobs very quickly. And IT was multicultural, totally. You in my teams, you had the Italians and Greeks and Chinese and Indians and, you name it, Serbs, Macedonians.
Yep.
So it was
Really
probably...
international industry.
Yeah, very international industry, yeah.
Yep. At the top of the show, Marija, we talked about how you use mathematics to become so good at playing petanque. But how did you get involved in petanque?
Thanks to Corona.
The virus, you mean?
The virus.
Not the beer.
Not the beer. I was in a gym enjoying my yoga and having a group of ladies drinking coffees after the yoga and talk all sorts of things. And Corona stopped all of that because suddenly the gyms became closed and then open up here and open up there. I was looking for something which is more Corona-proof, things that you can do outside.
Yep.
Look into two things. Golf and tennis were more logical because in the time they released the rules, you could play golf or you can play tennis, but the gym was hard. On the end, the advertisement popped up in Facebook. It was talking about petanque Camberwell, and I thought, Camberwell, there must be somewhere here. So went and found it. Actually got a phone call to Marion. Marion said, come try, it's easy, we have a ball, you can try once or twice, and after that you decide whether you like it or not. And we organized that I will come. I think one Friday I was planning to come, and she called me and said, by the way, we are having it was Australian Day barbecue, come and you will meet everyone. So that's how I came. I first went to the barbecue, and then after that I came and play, and straight away loved it. So yeah.
You did?
Yeah, I did, yeah. Simple and easy, you don't need to invest that much. Everyone can be, in one point in time, good and sometimes not good. So it's not something that you were, building for years, the skills. You can keep on building and, still playing.
That's right. And there's no advantage as to whether you're a male or female playing the game.
And even more, the people were so friendly, so easy to talk to, so relaxed, so able to sort of step into one's shoes, and then you talk about something else, and then you go and have a barbecue or have a lunch or a glass of wine or, piece of cheese, and then go back play again. So
it is a characteristic of the club, well deserved too.
It is.
It's exactly as you said that. John Muscat was very much involved in getting you started and doing it properly. Yeah.
John was quite instrumental for some reasons. He took, becoming my mentor. But there was a good point because of the Corona. You were at the time running a spreadsheet and saying, there are people can come, two families can be not more than 4 people, and, you tell me when you want to come. So because I walked into John one day, he said, why don't we, meet and play in a park? And then there was a publishing that we can use the club, not inside, play outside, no hoops, all of that. And then he said, well, we don't need to play in park. We can go tell Rex and we'll go and play in a club. And it was not then at the same time Annette. If you remember, she was she left for Mornington recently. She was also very friendly. She said, I have a spare, balls until I was buying the new balls, and we can. So 3 of us and then 4 of us. And suddenly there were a few of us which are getting into those type of arrangements. And then Corona passed and we start playing proper,
And you're still enjoying it?
Oh, enormously. Too much.
Since you've been here, you have a granddaughter.
Yeah.
She came along to the club.
She did.
Which was really good for the club because it brought our average age down by an immense amount, which is what we needed at the time. Unfortunately, she's grown a little and moved on to other things.
I was actually hoping if I bring Mila that there will be some other grandparents getting the idea, and I thought if someone else come, with a younger person, it could become a bit more interesting, and I think it would.
We've tried. It's very hard to get them and to keep. It was delightful to have Mila along, even though it was just for a short time. What advice would you give to anyone who was contemplating their future and deciding, should I go into IT?
Right. Oh, at the moment, IT is becoming not a good industry in such a way that a lot of restructuring of the companies and mergers has caused a lot of redundancies in IT in the past. So people are getting a bit more worried about the picking up as IT. My daughter is in there, so I am still, hearing and listening a lot of talks. For example, she was in the past working for some banks as a consultant. Recently, ANZ announced 2,000 jobs to be lost. Yes, when Mila was born, she moved into a little bit more, we hoped, gentle area, which was she was in IT services in Monash and then in RMIT. But those environments become also extremely tough after we lost a lot of Chinese students. The budgets were cut, and all of these things. So it is at the moment, for example, my daughter is now in IT sector, but in a good industry. The company is serving now the energy and the water sector,
right,
rather than a financial and the banks. So that's a more stable, more secure.
And what's your thoughts about AI?
It has its huge pluses, a lot of pluses. But there is actually, I think the governments need to think about really hard and to put some sort of boundaries around so that we can make the best of it and try to avoid a bit of challenges and the pitfalls. So.
A very big ask and a very hard thing to do. I don't want to end on a bad thing there. Normally I would ask an artist,
right,
what do you think is the best piece that you've ever produced?
Right.
With conceptual art, as you've just explained, it's not really the end result.
No.
It's the configuration, it's the doing, it's the getting to the end, it's the concept itself. So I can't really ask you that, can I?
You can. I'll tell you a little bit. There is something which I don't have the original books. I left a lot of these things. Luckily, I left it in Belgrade, so my good friend can send some of this work even now. Every now and then there is some pop-up somewhere on some exhibitions. That it is called associative sculpture, I call it. But it is about the spiral, geometrical spiral.
Of course, mathematical and geometrical.
Which is cutting into the net points, and it's easier for me to show you. So I don't know whether you call it pause paper. This is the see-through paper.
Tracing paper.
Tracing paper.
Yeah.
So I put each one of these points where the spiral is touching the net. Each dot was on one piece of see-through paper,
right,
and that become a book of all these dots.
Right.
So I'll just show you I think I have it original. This is
did it become like the golden ratio?
Golden ratio, a bit. So these are these are like the dots that were on those, but each dot become a part of one see-through paper. So when you split like that, on one you see two spirals. On left side you see one which is closing down, which is to the infinity, which is zero or null, and the other one which was opening up to the infinity. So but I call it sculpture because there is a depth in it. For example, when you have a whole heaps. I think I had can't remember, I don't know, 20, 30 pages,
So that's one of your favourites, if not the favourite.
It is, yeah.
Very good. And I am so pleased to be able to see that.
Yeah, and the other one was, I could talk a bit easier. We had a seminar when we were talking about the space. My interpretation of that discussion was, I went outside and 36 degrees, I collected, how do you call it, the photography that you have
Panoramic?
But the whole 36 degrees.
Right,
I have 36.
360 will do.
Yeah, 36 slides. I have slides,
Yes.
actually, photography. So that was me looking from inside out, but to present it, I had a cylinder, aluminium cylinder. I built an aluminium cylinder, but those inside photographies, I put them outside. Mm-hmm. So suddenly you're looking from outside in. It was like going around and looking into these photographies from the outside. So conceptually and mentally does build some
This
other...
was the 70s when
was the 70s.
People were taking LSD. I think you need to be able to grab hold of some of this stuff.
Yeah, I have never touched anything like that. But
well,
it
you
was
don't
true.
need
It
to
was
by
true.
what you're looking at here.
So we were very, very busy young people wanting to sort of do interesting things at the time.
And you certainly have.
Yeah.
Well, Marija, thank you so very, very much.
Always. Thank you. Thank you for coming. An opportunity. Great to talk about things which is a little bit unusual for the Petanque group.
Absolute pleasure. How absolutely fascinating was that? Conceptual art is now not the challenge in understanding as it was before Marija presented it so eloquently. Next time you see her on the piece, ask her for some advice on how to use mathematics and art to win points. Thank you for listening today. As we fade out to the wonderful sounds of Max Thomas on his Afro-Cuban drums, remember to tune in a fortnight's time to catch up with our next captivating guests. You'll be surprised and intrigued. Rex out.
Sick of Rex.